Well, our next guest knows what it's like to cover a team that wins the World Series. He has been watching the LA Dodgers for 12 years. Michael Duarte is a sports reporter for NBC Los Angeles. He is in Toronto to get ready for Game 6. And Michael, what are you expecting in tomorrow's game?
Ian, well, the first thing I'm expecting is similar to a pressure cooker with the lid on top. This is 32 years in the making for Blue Jays fans, and now they have a chance going back to Rogers Center, where the atmosphere is absolutely electric, to just win one game out of two and win their first championship in 32 years. Now, it's not going to be an easy feat, as your last guest just mentioned. Yoshinobu Yamamoto, as you said, arguably the best starting pitcher in the entire postseason, back-to-back complete game, something that hasn't happened in Dodgers franchise history since 1988 when Orel Hershiser did it. And a quick fun fact for you, Ian, 2 years ago in 2023, when Yamamoto was in Japan, he was facing a very similar situation. His Oryx Buffaloes were in the Japanese World Series. They were down 3-2 on the road. He pitched a complete game, 138-pitch shutout, 14 strikeouts, a record to send his team to Game 7.
Yeah, I mean, he is a machine, and he was so fantastic in his previous start in the World Series and the start before then. And so I ask you this question, not as a fan. You're a journalist, a sports journalist who's based in Los Angeles. Are you expecting him to have that kind of dominant performance again tomorrow?
I am, and that's just because he's one of the best pitchers I've seen as far as his preparation, his work ethic. He has a 6-pitch mix, so he can keep you off balance. It's not just the splitter, as someone mentioned, which is one of his best pitches. He can he can manipulate the ball and have it move to righties inside at you. He can move it away from you, and he can do that with both hitters and work both sides of the plate. He's been nothing but masterful when his team needs him the most. So if you're the Dodgers, who've just absolutely been struggling on offense since that 18-inning marathon game in Game 3, which depleted everybody, even me, I'll admit, Ian. It was exhausting after that. It was a doubleheader in one game. But if they can have any confidence going into Game 6 tomorrow, it's that the best pitcher they could possibly have is on the mound for them. And once you get to a Game 7, anything can happen. It's all hands on deck.
This was supposed to be, and I don't know if this was the narrative in LA, it certainly was in Canada, a David and Goliath World Series with LA as the Goliath. All the future Hall of Famers on that team, arguably the best player in all of baseball. And, starting pitching, which was amazing, hitting that was amazing. It hasn't turned into a David and Goliath battle. Why is that, do you think? That's a great question.
We were expecting almost a coronation of the Dodgers to be the next dynasty in baseball, the first team to go back-to-back since the New York Yankees from 98 to 2000. And it hasn't gone as smoothly yet. The series is not over. It feels like a giant pendulum swinging back and forth. The Blue Jays win the first one in dominant fashion. The Dodgers take the next two, and now the Blue Jays have won the next two behind amazing starting pitching from Shane Bieber and Trey Yasevich, as you mentioned, who just threw a masterpiece in Game 5 with 12 strikeouts, breaking an almost 80-year record held by former Dodger Don Newcomb, I might add. So it's been the narrative that the starting pitching edge was supposed to go to Los Angeles, but it's been the Blue Jays starting pitching that has shined on the game's brightest stage right now, Ian. And I think the Dodgers offense is a little lost. I think maybe getting away from home, where you have a lot of pressure on you to win and the fans are there, and you can be a little bit more reactionary and relaxed at Rogers Center, should help them in Game 6. And they're facing a familiar foe in Kevin Gausman, someone who they knew when he was with the Giants. But as you said, this was billed as a David versus Goliath matchup. I like to think of it as, reading an old book, right? The first few pages are very familiar to you. You think you know the storyline, and then all of a sudden the plot thickens, the plot deepens, and you get hooked into that book and you keep going. That's what we have as this World Series continues to get deeper and deeper.
One last question for you, and again, really interested in hearing your perspective as an LA-based sports reporter. You have on this Dodgers team not only a lot of people with collectively a lot of World Series rings, but also some true leaders, people who, it looks to me watching on television, that they are poised. They don't look lost up there. I mean, there are a couple of exceptions, but for the most part, the superstars look poised up there. Is that the sense you get when you watch them at batting practice and when you walk into the news conferences, that this is a confident team that knows what it takes?
Yeah, what was interesting was in the locker room last night after that 6-1 loss in Game 5. Now, not an ideal situation, heading to hostile territory at the Rogers Center, down 3-2, needing to win both games in order to go back-to-back. Mookie Betts told me they can draw upon the experience from last season, and they faced the same situation in the NLDS against the San Diego Padres, who, off the record, the entire team told me that was the best team they faced throughout the entirety of the playoffs last year. They were down 2-1 in San Diego, Petco Park, a hostile environment. They had no starting pitcher. They threw a bullpen game. No Freddie Freeman, no Miguel Rojas. They won that game big in blowout fashion, 8-0, and then they went on to win the do-or-die elimination with Yamamoto on the mound, I might add. So they can draw upon that experience. This is a veteran team. They're not going to shy away from the moment or make this too big at the Rogers Center, no matter how rocking that place is going to get, how loud it gets, or how electric. This team is poised. They're full of veterans. Maybe that's why they're so tired as this series went on. But I think they're going to be ready to go. And I think this day off of rest might help them offensively as well.
This may be the slimmest of all 3-2 margins in a series. Michael Duarte, sports reporter for NBC Los Angeles. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ian.